asked like how they died.
It's just that they're mad.
Here at home, police in Winnipeg may have stopped a serial killer. John Paul Ostermus has been charged with murder.
What? Are you next to me right now?
I'm mad at Jordan for what he had said.
Are you trying to hurt me right now?
Fuck.
She was only looking for a fling. This enraged Elmer.
Whoever this entity is seems dangerous and malevolent, and it's the exact reason why I recorded a video before we ended up going to the Marlboro that I felt sick to my stomach, and I told everybody around me before we got there that I thought something bad was going to happen, and this was just the beginning of what was going to happen.
Albert had the perfect occupation as a cab driver to drive around picking up homeless people to fulfill his murderous desires. John Paul Ostermus was far from the affluent British man that Albert was, and the man that the legend suggests that the Good Samaritan killer was. So we don't believe that they had any connection with each other. It's fascinating to us that whenever an urban legend becomes reality, to draw parallels, because after all, legends are usually cautionary tales that eventually do come true. John Paul Ostermus was very quickly stopped, but Albert was able to keep killing until his violent tendencies were directed at one of his love interests. And he wouldn't kill again until his parole, when he met the acquaintance of an unfortunate 16-year-old girl who he murdered in the very same room that we investigated, room 503. How do you know Albert?
Let's see if he wants to come in here.
Ask him?
Ask him.
Albert, can I ask you some questions?
No.
That was a really deep voice, too. I'd really like to speak with you.
They said first.
I'd really like to speak with you, Albert. I want to know why you killed those people. That was the same voice. I didn't know what it said.
Was killing homeless people a game for you, Albert? What the
Are you next to
hell?
me right now? Are you trying to hurt me right now?
Are you mad at Jordan for what he had said?
I bet your mom hated you. That's why she sent you to Canada, right? Is that why you killed Lottie? And then you just hated
Oh, there it goes off.
Albert?
The hell was that?
I don't know.
Holy fuck. I think you went in on it hard, man.
Yeah, your mom does hate you, doesn't she? But you were a piece of shit before that, weren't you?
It just like maxed there. The fuck is going on in here now? Enemy?
Yeah, damn right I'm your enemy.
Oh man. What the fuck is going on, man? It's like he's standing there right in front of you.
He's probably trying to hurt me right now. Yeah, try as hard as you can. You can't strangle me or anything. I'm not scared of you, Albert. You can go fuck yourself.
I'm still having a hard time breathing. It's every time I go near this bed. It looks like somebody had been laying in here. Whoa!
Huge spike right there.
Looks like somebody was laying in here since we started that Ouija board. It's interesting because when we were doing the Ouija board, I asked him if he could turn the power off in this section, but then the power
went back on.
This section comes up. Scared? Yeah, I'm a little scared.
I'm not scared of you, Albert. Because I definitely think it's him, but like, I guess like, do you think like if you committed like a really like high energy, you know, killing or something like that, that you have like leftover energy, even if you didn't die here?
I think so, yeah. Plus, I think limbo. I was just going to say...
You're stuck in limbo?
Yeah. I think that because he killed somebody here, he could be stuck here. Mm-hmm. Because this is where he committed his
Do you think he
act of violence.
came back to see Edith or something like that?
I think...
So I definitely feel like it's not Edith, it's Albert right now. It's just too violent, you know?
Yeah. And just like quiet now, hey? Just a surge.
Yeah. And quieted right down, yeah.
It's like he used all his energy to freak us out. It's like that's what those moments when you get like that big surge of stuff, that's always
it's a rush.
Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always such a rush. It's like it's like you want to leave in those moments and get like just bail. But staying is like I just don't understand how.
I just want to find out more.
I know.
You know. I don't think we've really like learned anything yet, but it's like, you know, whatever, if it is Albert, it's very responsive to our questions and what we know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even though like we have facts written down on that paper there about it, we haven't opened it and talked about it yet. So it's not like any of these devices are somehow listening to what we're talking about and going off of it. It's like he's literally telling us all the facts we researched before we got here.
Yeah, or just confirming, or just like getting mad, really. Mm-hmm.
Like hang.
Yeah.
Hearing Edith through the spirit box like crazy.
I'm hoping we can talk to Edith a little bit more.
Again, just stories that you hear from staff, different staff of a guest wanting to check out of the hotel because a young female ghostly figure type of thing crawled into their bed.
Really?
Yes.
On which floor?
On the 5th.
Only 2 months after his parole, Albert met the acquaintance of a young woman named Grace Edith Cook, who was known to everyone by her middle name, Edith. Edith had a rocky relationship with her mother and father, and due to this, she was living in a rooming house in downtown Winnipeg. Edith, who was completely oblivious to Albert's violent past, as she would have only been 2 years old when he murdered Lottie Adams, was originally smitten with Albert because he was an older gentleman who was very well dressed and described him as kinder than her own father. Albert was once again infatuated and promised the world to Edith's naive young mind. Albert told Edith that he wanted to take her away to Vancouver, far away from her parents, to start a brand new life together, which Vancouver was coincidentally, or not coincidentally, where his ex-wife lived. Albert told Edith that he already had a job lined up for her in Vancouver and he already had a place for them to stay, but this was all a lie. In order to feign having money, Albert bought Edith a brand new gold watch and brand new shoes in order to win her affection. Even though everything that Albert told Edith was all a fantasy, he was willing to push it to the very end of the line. He still planned to take Edith to Vancouver on December 5th, 1943, despite still having no money and the conditions of his parole not allowing him to leave the province of Manitoba. Albert was desperate to start a new life with Edith in Vancouver, and was willing to do anything to make his fantasy become a reality. He tried to take out a house loan to cover the travel costs and was denied. He told his parole officer that his wife in Vancouver, who he was still legally married to, had fallen ill and was still denied permission to leave the province. It became painfully apparent to Albert that he would not be able to provide the life to Edith that he had promised her. However, there was no way that he could tell her this, or else she would leave him. Still going along with his lie, he and Edith checked into room 503 of the Marlborough Hotel on December 3rd, 1943, which was 2 days before their supposed departure date. Edith was still excited for the trip, which she had at this point no idea was still a lie. She was excited to go. She even modeled her new shoes for Albert in the hotel room, just to show Albert how pretty she felt that she looked. Albert looked at Edith with the same infatuation that he looked at Lottie with 14 years ago. He knew that if he came clean and told Edith the truth, that there was no way that she would ever speak to him again. Albert knew that there was no coming back from his lie, and decided once again that if he couldn't have her,
nobody could.
Edith was still showing off her new shoes when Albert stood up and took her by surprise, threw her on the bed, and then strangled her to death. We know what you guys are thinking, and yes, the Ovilus did say Mary
Haven't talked.
while we were in the room, but we decided to just ignore it and not acknowledge it, which we feel was the right decision, because our focus for the night was on Edith and Albert and Lottie. So that being said, we called in Johnny's sister-in-law Marisa, because Edith usually only shows herself to young females. Because she was a young female when she died, she shows herself to young women staying there who may be in danger as a warning to get away from the men that they're staying with. And we thought this would be a great way to be able to see Edith and be able to talk to her, because Edith is very famously known around Winnipeg.
So what kind of questions are you gonna ask?
Like, what questions do you usually ask? Like, how they died, if
This just said
they're
hang.
mad. Said hang.
Yeah.
Well, he got hanged.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was that on?
Yeah, we got that.
We got that?
Yeah, it's recording.
Crazy.
Oh, I'm getting mad shivers.
We're gonna be okay. Put it in this chair.
Kid.
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 Kid?
Kid. She was a kid.
She was
Whoa.
kept.
Oh.
He kept her here. See, it's like you can unravel the story
Yeah.
a little bit, you know?
Ooh, cool.
Fuck. Thank
See you guys.
Until when? What's so cold? It's freezing in here now. Like now
Yeah.
it's like freezing in here.
That was hot for a second. So you can also ask this.
No, that. Well, like you can just kind of ask questions in general, and if it were to answer, like that will go off,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Gotcha.
We come in respect and in peace. We're just here to kind of hear you out. If you have anything to say to us, we'd love to hear what you have to say.
She asked, what happened in this room?
Go.
I'm so scared to ask. Did anything happen in this room? I didn't catch that.
Can you just say that again? We missed it. Did anything happen here? Save.
You wanted someone to save you?
Do you wish that somebody would have saved you?
7?
The number 7 came through multiple times throughout the night, and it got us wondering if that had any significance. So we looked into our research, and we had found that Albert had been hanged in July, which is the 7th month of the year. The most intense part of our investigation happened on February 7th, and the one that really blew our minds was that at the time of filming, it had been 7 months since we had come into possession of the killer's journal.
Beth, come here.
What?
Come here right now. What is that? What is that? Edith, are you scared right now? Are you a little bit intimidated? Edith, are you scared right now? Are you a little bit intimidated?
What is that?
What is going on right now?
Is that going off? Is it
I need to call Johnny.
something repeating itself?
No, I think somebody's hacking his thing.
Hacking?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, that's what it looks like, because somebody else is recording it right now. They can like see us in here. I don't know if that's them doing it right now.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Is this you right now?
Is that bad?
No, Johnny, like we're not touching it. And it's somebody else is like doing all of this. This is recordings from, that's recordings from before.
It's moving around?
Like no, they're playing your old recordings. Like this is the camera now, this is old recordings. This looks like somebody hacked into it and is watching your stuff. I don't know what it is, but.
At some point, the SLS actually turned itself on and started playing old screen recordings that we had saved, and Marisa actually saw the mouse moving on its own, going to the old files.
And this mouse was moving before, like it was moving around and like clicking things. Just takes pictures. It's on timer.
Oh,
I know, it scared me too.
I was like, what?
Is this thing super loud?
It's not that bad.
What?
Ball.
Ball?
During the night when Marisa and Beth were in the room alone, Marisa never told me about the word ball coming through because it was insignificant to her. And the reason why it was insignificant is because we never told Marisa or Beth anything about what happened to us before they got there. We did this for a couple different reasons. Number one, we didn't want to scare them off, being this is their first paranormal investigation and they were going to be alone in the room by themselves, which they already were unsettled with and uneasy about doing that, just because they didn't know what kind of questions to ask. And I think you can even hear that in the investigation. They were very concerned with how to conduct an investigation and how to ask questions. The second reason was we wanted them to have their own personal experience, and we didn't want to sway their decision based on what happened to us in the room. We wanted them to go in blind and be able to try and contact Edith and see if Edith would show herself to them based on the rumors we had heard. Marisa and Beth both mentioned how when we were in the room, it seemed like the activity was a little bit more consistent and strong. And that became very clear when Marisa did her sensory deprivation.
Do you know Albert? Or Edith?
Maybe.
What'd you say?
She said maybe, but it said recorded.
Recorded, yeah.
Hut.
No, I asked if it was
There. Nancy.
Was Nancy your mom? Maybe.
Nancy.
Again. Okay. You have a message for her?
Edith.
Edith again. Okay.
All the way. It sounded like somebody was screaming there for a second.
Edith,
Tonight.
Which bed were you killed on? Was it one of these?
Maine.
Maine?
That's what she said last time when we asked that question.
Light.
Really?
Yeah, she said Maine, so we're like thinking it was one bed.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Edith.
Edith. That. The K2 meter's going nuts.
Light.
Light. Oh,
Thank you.
It's all gone.
When asked what bed Edith was murdered in, Marisa quickly responded with Maine. And being that there's two beds, we wouldn't be able to know which was the main bed. The only indication that gave us a little bit of clarity would be that she followed it by saying light, and the K2 meter would only light up in the left bed, the one that I felt sick to my stomach every single time I walked around it, and the K2 meter would light up in that bed for the entire 3-night stay that we were there. Coincidentally, this is the exact same side of the room where the power went out, and being that the two lights above the bed didn't have power to begin with when we went into this room, along with all the electrical and technological issues that we had inside the room, especially on that side of the room, we assumed that this would be the main bed that she was talking about being strangled in. And it was a strong indication that Edith was in the room with us.
It's all gone.
Edith, what would you say if I said that I wanted to hurt Marisa? What would you do about it?
Power.
Power. Did you say cower? Power. Yes.
Dark.
How did Albert kill you?
Weapon. Head.
Head?
Loud.
He was in the war. He killed you with the pillow? Was he on top of you and he was too heavy?
Heavy. Mom.
Is Nancy your mom?
Mom.
Natural. Edith, what would you say if I said I wanted to hurt Marisa?
No.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take her to Vancouver tomorrow.
Oh, it's like screaming again. All in.
All in?
Now. Don't.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take her to Vancouver tomorrow. I don't think you can stop me.
You can't.
No, I'm going to. You can't do anything about it.
Boxed in.
Boxing, are you gonna try to keep me in here?
Almost.
What did I say?
I heard a sound from over here.
Maine?
Hero.
Hero? Edith, did you love Albert?
No. Beaver.
You said you were gonna go with him. Why were you gonna go with him?
Force.
Can you show yourself on the screen?
Stop.
I was about to say, I'm coming for her now. What are you gonna do about it?
Sounds like somebody's screaming again.
Edith, what are you gonna do about it? Behind her. Look.
Throw.
Somebody's standing outside.
Hard.
In the mirror.
In the mirror?
That's in the mirror.
It looks like it.
Bad. Almost.
Somebody's standing there. What is it?
It's just R.
R. It's not catching me. It's not. It's so weird. It's not picking up on that. It's reaching for her.
Yeah, this keeps going off.
Oh, that sounded like it said mind your own.
Mind your own.
It's reaching for her.
It's like, yeah, look.
It's trying to touch her arm. Look. It's like holding its arm around her.
That's exactly it, yes.
And you can see that. You can see us in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's not paying us.
It's, yeah.
Worry.
It's still around her.
Gone.
It's still holding its arm around her.
Yeah. That is crazy. Look at that. It's like holding.
See his legs?
Stop.
His arms around her in the head.
Yeah.
Is it recording?
Stop.
Oh my god, it just stopped. It's holding.
Yeah, it's gone.
Stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Hold on. You have anything you want to say to Marisa, not me?
We'll focus on her now. And it's right around her. It's focusing
Kind.
on something right on her shoulder.
Safe.
It's just constantly trying
Mind
to focus.
safe. Be safe.
It's trying to focus on her shoulder.
Oh,
I don't know if you won't focus.
Be safe.
be safe.
That.
Please.
Please be safe. Okay,
He said,
hold on. Edith, I'm not.
Sacrifice?
Edith, I wasn't being serious about taking her to Vancouver. I'm not gonna do any of that. I just wanted to know what you would think, what you'd say. Thank you for communicating with us, and thank you for being protective over Marisa.
Stupid.
That means you're being a good girl. During Marisa's sensory deprivation, first of all, it was great. We got a lot of definitive answers, I feel. But looking through the SLS, it looked like, in my opinion, somebody, which I presume to be Edith, had her arm around Marisa the entire time, like she wanted to protect her. You know, maybe she wasn't strong enough to manifest like she's done in other cases, but I truly believe that Edith was trying to protect Marisa in the situation, as well as helping Marisa communicate her own thoughts to us.
What have been your beliefs about the paranormal so far in your life?
Honestly, I always thought there was kind of something out there, being raised Christian, you kind of have different beliefs, whatever, but then when you reach a certain age, you kind of start to think as your own, but definitely had an idea that it was out there, but until I was there myself and hearing all the things and everything that was happening, that was the first time that it was secured, and I was yeah, there's something for sure out there. Seeing that figure, that long thing, looking at it, it just freaks me out every single time I look at it. But honestly, when I forget what that was called, but when I had the headphones and I was listening to that one, the way that in between, when there was a woman screaming, I don't even know how you can catch that on a radio. I feel like it was just a frequency that I guess sounded like a scream, but that was really scary because it was really loud too, and it was just a woman just absolutely screaming, and I think that's probably one of the things that didn't really sit right with me the most.
And you couldn't hear us, right? So
no.
Do you think that's a good test to kind of prove that?
Yeah, for sure, because when I had those headphones on, I couldn't hear a damn thing. It was literally just the radio frequencies, whatever, going through, and it was just and it was clear words. And even when me and Beth were in the room before, and it was kind of we heard words, but it was never as clear and as on point as it was when it was just me. Maybe it's because I'm sitting there and just listening to it, but yeah, it was very clear words, stop, mom, leave, Yeah, so it's very clear.
Do you believe that at any point you were actually speaking with Edith?
Yes. I think when I don't know how Beth would feel on this one, but for me, it was when we were asking her where she passed away, because we noticed that those, I forget what they're called, but they were going to red a lot, and we were like, are you here? Is this where you passed? And then we asked her like how many beds or which bed, because there was 2 beds in the room at the time, and it kept on saying Maine. And so that's where we thought that she was possibly telling us that it was like a Maine bed at the time, because then we asked again, it was like, was there 1 bed? And then the phone said again like Maine. So we were like,
And then it said it again when you were in your sensory deprivation.
yeah, so it was like maybe that's probably like the one time where I feel like, because it was like multiple times that she like, or something answered, so I was like, that would be one point that I would think for sure.
Were there any words that you heard that you knew were relevant to either what we had told you or just even in your own personal life? Was there any words that either the Ottawa said, the spirit box, or even in your sensory deprivation that kind of stood out?
Yes. I know right away when you guys were still there, it said hang. And then it said pillow, and like we knew that she was strangled in a bed, so that was like a lot. Here, there was a lot of, one really good one, because we had asked a question on like how she died and stuff like that, and it said pillow. Pillow. And then I was like, did you get, because we were like, I know they found you with like the sheets, so I was like, anything else? And it was just pillow, as she just said, whatever. Yeah. Just with all of the things that happened when I was there personally, it was just like, there's no way that happened. Even the banging on the door, that was super sketchy, didn't like that, and just everything, the way it added up, made me believe that there's definitely a paranormal life out there, that even like me, the whole concept of like heaven or hell, I'm like, I feel like that's a little bit more secured too now. Like there's a lot of things that I'm like, that all adds up. It's just like, you need to be there for yourself, you need to do it, you need to experience it. Anybody who is questioning it, I think should go and do something like I did. Yeah.
So we decided that we weren't going to stay at this hotel, not because we were scared of the ghosts or anything like that, but just because it is a very dangerous hotel, which was outlined to us very clearly by Danielle. The details of the stories that she told us made us feel really uncomfortable, and we had our own uncomfortable experiences, even just checking into the hotel and just walking in, which there was a lot of shady characters walking around. So we decided to stay somewhere else. And when Marisa was at the hotel, she decided that she was going to walk around the hotel. We advised against it, but she wanted to do it. She went up to the 7th floor, like once again the number 7 comes through, and she noticed that a door was just kicked in all the way. Previously, I'd only been involved in long-range, impersonal combat, but he was close enough that I could see the whites of his eyes. We stared at each other for what felt like an hour, but was likely only a few seconds. I felt the fear of death. My mouth tasted of copper, and my heart was beating out of my chest. In a split second, I realized that I needed to be the first to act if I wanted to remain alive. I drew my knife and lunged forward towards my enemy. He reached for his knife as well, but I was too quick. I plunged it into his belly as I tackled him to the ground. I remained on top of him for some time. Blood came from his mouth, and I stared into his eyes as I watched the life drain out of them. I still wake up drenched in sweat after seeing the man's eyes in my dreams. He haunts me to this day, but I feel no remorse, no compassion. The second a soldier views his enemy as an equal, he is no longer an effective soldier, and I refuse to be an ineffective soldier. I do feel that when I took that man's life, I lost a part of myself. I can no longer function as a civilian, and the only guilt I feel is that I wasn't able to kill more. I feel I don't have power over my own life, but the greatest feeling of power I've ever felt is having the power to take another man's life. It's like having the power to slow down time to the point that you can pick a bullet from the air.
Okay, we are going to grab the journal right now. The journal from Richard's house.
Yeah.
Because we feel like the fact that whoever wrote the book, whether it was Richard's grandpa or somebody, whoever wrote the book was a war veteran, and they were fucked up in the head.
And Albert was a war veteran as well. And we found out that in the war, Albert had gotten shrapnel to the head. So we feel like both of them being deranged, fucked up people
From World War One.
from the same war. They were in the same war. So maybe they know each other and they can like talk to each other, or maybe it can ramp up the activity by having two fucked up people. I mean, when are you ever gonna get the chance to have two war killers in the same room again that we know of?
Yeah, no, we've never really experienced something like this before. But I'm really excited to see what kind of results that this might be able to bring.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be, a bad thing to do. It's worth
It might be a bad thing to do, but
It might be. But
it might be bad for us, but it might be, it's just going to be fascinating to see
yeah.
what happens.
Sound like that one was gonna go off.
Hello?
Again.
This Edith or Albert?
Keeps doing that. One in the bathroom too.
Grace, Edith Cook, are you here? I saw it move.
The door handle?
The door handle.
Oh shit. Oh, yeah. There's nobody there.
I saw it move.
The door handle?
The door handle.
Oh shit. Oh, yeah. There's nobody there. You're gonna see footage of my computer during the editing process of what happened after the door was being shaken and knocked on violently. I've never had this issue with any other video that I've tried to edit, and I don't know why it would be, but I'll give you my theory as to what I think happened. I think that when there was the banging on the other side of the door, it's possible that it was Albert, Edith, or Lottie banging on the door to get our attention, and when I opened that door, there was a spirit standing right in front of the door. And if you believe that spirits can manipulate camera gear, like we've been told many times, then it wouldn't be a stretch to say that there was a spirit standing in front of the door and our camera gear malfunctioned. I can't explain in any other way why my computer would glitch out every single time we come to that point in the film. But as soon as I try and put it onto the computer and edit it, it will freeze. And I've never seen my computer do this ever. So that would be my only theory as to why this would happen. And then it just ends. Does it every time?
Yeah, it's stupid. It's a bit far-fetched. I have this feeling. Because it's like Albert was a vet in World War I. And whoever wrote the journal was too. Like the killer's journal. Mm-hmm. I don't know, is that like too far-fetched? Probably is, right? Because like how many people were in the war? How do you know Albert? Okay. Well, that's weird. Well, anyways, well, thank you for talking to us. Thank you for your time. Okay. All right.
All right. See ya.
Hi, Richard. It's Jordan.
Hey, Jordan. How's it going?
Hey, good, man. Listen, I just kind of talked to your neighbor now on our way out. Your neighbor Lavinia on our way out.
you.